Hi there, my name is Anita and this is my sewing channel, Sewing Yogi. So I'm coming from a different room today, so the view will be slightly different, but this is the only room that is warm. So I am sitting right in front of my fire. Yeah, it's pretty chilly today, very frosty. I'm not sure what temperature it is, but it's very cold. So I'm sat here in my living room and it is dark now, so sorry about the light. But this is the only chance I've had today to get to film anything. And I just wanted to quickly catch up with everybody. And if anyone does obviously watch this, because there's so many other vlogs out there at the moment, especially with the Vlogmas, you might even see this. So anyway, thank you for coming back if you are a subscriber. And thank you also for the lovely comments as well that I received for my last vlog, my two last vlogs actually. Yeah, so today I'm just gonna chat about what I'm getting up to at the moment, what I've just done, and just gonna be general, nothing specific. Just as I wanted to kind of catch up with you really. So first off, I have been knitting quite a bit. So I've been knitting some gifts, and one of the gifts that I've been making was mittens. Now you may have seen the one previous what I've made myself, really multicolored mittens with the opening on the top so you can use your fingers still. Ideal for if you want to continue to use your phone if you're outside, which I always find a bit of a hassle. I tend to lose a lot of gloves because of that, because of taking my glove off to either look at my phone or get my bus ticket out or whatever, and I lose my gloves everywhere. So I think I must have lost about a million gloves. So I made these, and they are the same pattern that I used before, and I used it in a lovely grey yarn, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of sparkly. You can just about see that it sparkles. It's got like a little green sparkle in it, and I just think they're really pretty. These ones are obviously would be a little bit more fancy for kind of, you know, going out, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I really like these, and I have made some of these as well for gifts. I don't think the people that would that are going to receive these are going to be watching this, so it's fine. But yeah, and I've also been knitting a little baby bonnet for my friend who has just this week on Tuesday had her baby, and she had a little girl. So I knew she was going to have a little girl, so I have knitted her a little bonnet in the same yarn as the gloves that I made previously. And this is the little bonnet, and it is so cute. I love this so much. I actually thought it was a little bit big when I knitted it, but having seen the baby, she's quite a big baby. So I think she weighed £7, 6 ounces, and she has got quite a decent sized head. So not good for my friend, but it may be good for my little bonnet that I made. So yeah, I made it out of the yarn, if you can just about see that with the rubbish light. And it has a really pretty little flower detail on the front, all across the front here, all around the trim. And I just think it's really pretty. So you can just about see that. And again, this is a free pattern that I found. And it was very simple to make actually, really easy. It's the same lady who I got the mittens pattern from. So I will link that down below, but it's such a cute little bonnet with the little ties, which are so clever, the way you make them. I just think it's so sweet. I love it. I want one for myself. But yeah, it's really pretty. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. I made that. But because it was so big, I did think, oh, it's probably too big for a newborn baby. So I am actually knitting another one, which is for a newborn baby. I'm going to knit it anyway. I'm halfway through it. And yeah, so I'm going to still give her both, and she can choose which one fits her best. But yeah, I really love it. It's really pretty. I will link that down below just in case you do want to have a go at little baby baby bonnet if you've got a baby in your family. So yeah, I feel like I just realised I feel like this crackling noise behind me. I feel like I should be telling you a story, a Christmas story or something. But yeah, it's really, really cozy and really, really snugly warm here. So I also recently made a beautiful dress, and it was a dress that I kind of hadn't seen out there as a whole pattern, and I don't know whether it was something that I just kind of dreamt about, or I don't know, I had a vision in my mind, or I had maybe seen something on the TV. I can't remember what it was that I saw, but I kind of wanted a dress that had a pussy bow on the front, and then was kind of long and flowy. So anyway, I didn't really put much thought into it. I didn't search for any patterns at the time. And then I think it was like a few weeks later, it must have been about 3 or 4 weeks later, Sew Over It suddenly put their Pussybow blouse up on their site. I think it was for 35% off because they'd created an add-on for it, I think it was. So I thought, well, maybe this is a sign. I'm going to buy this pattern. Now, I've never wanted to buy this pattern because I know that I would never wear a Pussybow blouse because I feel like it's a little bit too formal for me. Like I wouldn't know what to wear with it. I wouldn't know how to style it. It's maybe too dressy. I don't know. I just felt like it was not really me. I know you can pair it with jeans, but for me, I just felt like it's not something I would wear with jeans, if that makes sense. So anyway, I've never really wanted that pattern. I kind of put the feelers out there with my friend and asked her what she thought if I bought this pattern and would it make a good dress, and she said yes, buy it, it would look fabulous. So I bought the pattern with the intention of hacking it into a dress, and I will put the pictures up here in the corner so you can see the pictures I took for Instagram. And I may go and put it on for you, depending on how cold I am. I might not, but I might. I absolutely love this. Now, the pattern itself, I found quite easy to do actually. The only tricky part is the actual Pussybow bit in itself. I found that just a little bit tricky where the kind of V meets. So I chose the version, I don't know which version it is, but it's the version with the kind of longer, lower neckline. I don't think I'd ever make the one with a higher neckline. It's not kind of very, very me. So I went with the lower neckline, and that one is quite tricky to do, that point there where you've kind of got to get the tie bit. But I managed it okay. I think I did do a few hand stitches and then sewed it with a machine, if that makes sense, so that it just didn't shift around and, you know, create too much of a mess. So I just took the pattern, lengthened it, but I didn't lengthen it to the amount that I thought I needed it. I just wanted it long enough so that I could put it on against me to see where my waist sat. So I kind of just put it up against me and then just roughly marked where my waist sits. And then from that point, braided out from that waist point. And then I wanted it to be like a little bit bigger around the hip area. So I just literally drew it out slightly hard, a little bit more out towards the side, a bit more room around the hips and the bum. And then I just carried that line all the way down. Now I went onto Instagram and I did look at the Pussybow blouse on Instagram, and the lady from Sew Over It, I think her name is, I can't remember her name, but she'd put one on there and she'd made it exactly similar, probably pretty much what I wanted. So anyway, I measured to the point where I wanted my tier to start, which I have another dress which kind of does the same thing, and it just goes from my knee, and I think that's more flattering. So I measured this down so it was just roughly on my knee, and then for the tier I measured from my knee down to the floor roughly. It was all very rough measurements, nothing specific. Then I cut the pieces out, stuck them together pretty much, and then just held it up against me. There was nothing technical in this, so I kind of knew that would roughly work. I did all my seam allowances and everything else, Now the only thing I didn't know was how wide to make my frill on the bottom, because I wanted it to be gathered, and I wasn't sure of how big you have to make it to make it do that kind of gathering thing and make it look really nice and pretty. So I think I did a Google search and then roughly found something. So I think what I did was I measured the bottom of my hem on the entire made up dress. So I actually made it up first, and then I measured the whole circumference of that. And then I added, no, sorry, I didn't add, I multiplied that by 2.5. And that roughly gave me a nice decent amount of length to then gather. So it made it look gathered across the bottom. And I cut 3 pieces, I think I cut 3 pieces of the same, and then sewed them together down the side seams, and then put gathering stitches all around the top, and then just pulled it in to the amount that I needed to get it to the circumference of the bottom of this hem. And it worked perfectly. So I think the sizing on this, I think I did the very smallest size on my shoulders, which is what I always do. And if I can see that writing on there, very tiny writing. I think it's a 6 I did for the shoulders, and then I graded down to a 10 from the chest down. That's roughly what I always do pretty much for all my garments. And the sizing was pretty much perfect. I really, you know, thought it looked spot on. And then the sleeves, I think I had to remove some from the sleeves. Let me have a check on my pattern pieces. Oh, actually, I might have it written down. I have actually got it written down, I'm just ignoring that. So yeah, 6 on the shoulders, 10 on the bust, graded out the waist and the hips, and then extended it to the knee, and then yeah, all the other things for the bottom of the hem. And then removed 6 centimeters from the sleeves, so that's roughly about 2.5 inches that I removed from the sleeves. Yeah, so I absolutely love this. I absolutely love it. I didn't expect to love it that much. I wasn't sure if it would suit me. I wasn't sure that Pussybow would suit me. I've never worn anything like that before, so I was a little bit apprehensive. However, I've worn it tons already, and I love it. I really love it, and I want to make another one. I want to hack another one. So the next time, what I will do is I will probably cut it at the actual waist, and then I will fold it at that point. Take off the skirt completely, and I want to put a circle skirt on it instead, so that it's a shorter, more circle skirt kind of vibe, and I think that would look really lovely. I think that would just work perfectly with the Pussybow. But yeah, so I think I should really go and put it on, even though you might not see very much of it because the light's not very good, but I will go and put it on so you can see just a little bit of it. Okay, so I have my dress on. So cold. Got my cup of tea, my massive mug. I have this massive mug because it's like the only cup that I can find that will give me enough tea in one go. So it is a green tea. I only drink green tea. I haven't had a normal tea for about 20 years because I don't have milk, and I don't like it with soy milk or almond milk or any of those other milks, so I just drink green tea now. So, but yeah, it's nice and warm. Okay, so I'm wearing it with a belt. So at the moment, if it's just without the belt, it looks kind of just like straight down, as you see on the pattern. And I did have a lady on Instagram ask me about how I'm cinching it in. I'm just literally cinching it in with a belt. Now, she did say, has it got ties? And I thought, actually, you probably could have put ties on this. If you just put some in on the side seams, just some little roulet kind of straps, and then just tied it at the back, that might have worked. Or you could make it long enough so you can wrap it round twice. That may work as well, but I'm just using a belt to pull mine in. But you will see there's the Pussybow on the front there. And this fabric is kind of like a crepe fabric. I'm assuming it's a sort of crepe, but it feels lovely and heavy and drapey. There's the cuffs, and I did put on some self-covered buttons, so you probably can't really see those, but they are the self-covered buttons, but just because I couldn't be bothered to find buttons to match I really love these self-covered buttons now. I discovered them earlier in the year, and now that's all I use. So yeah, I love the sleeve detail. I love the little cuff and the little opening. I've never done that before, I don't think, anyway. But I really liked that was the way that was made. I thought it was quite clever. So as I said before, it's just this bit I think that's quite tricky. It does, I think the pattern says it's for a confident beginner, but I'm not sure as a beginner I would have wanted to do this, to be fair. So, but yeah, it's just this little tiny bit here, stitching that in. Can be a little bit tricky, but I think just, you know, give it a go. It's one of those, just give it a go. It should be all right. So yeah, and then I'll just kind of stand up a little bit so you can kind of see. Okay, so it's quite big, but not too big. So you've still got, like, it's still quite fitted, I'd say. So it's quite snug here around the bum area, and then obviously I've got my tier that comes right from under here, so that goes to the knee, and then I've got my tier that's going all the way down, and I think that worked really, really well using that measurement. It gives it a nice gather on this particular fabric. I've just got a white belt so you can see a little bit more obvious, and do it up. I mean, I've been wearing it with a black belt, but you could, you know, suppose jazz it up a bit, wear it with any old colour really. I just can't get that to go up. Why is it not doing up? Can't see because of the bow. It's in my way. So yeah, and I'm just pulling it in with this belt. It will go on. It doesn't want to go on this belt. Okay. So yeah, and it cinches it in really nicely, I think. Probably can't see it very well in this light, but yeah, I really love it. It's so nice to wear. I think I kind of made it a little bit shorter than I wanted, but with boots, which is what I'm wearing it with, it actually looks fine. It would look odd, I think, if it had been a little bit longer. So yeah, but I really love it, and it's just enough floatiness. It's not really, you know, like really floaty, but there's just enough floatiness, I think, to make it feel that it's, you know, kind of like bohemian, but at the same time, you have got this lovely detail on the top, the pussy bow. So I really love it. I really, really, really love it. So, and I really love the fabric as well that I've used. Yeah, I'm gonna make another. I don't know when I'll make it, but I will get round to it. So I've got so many things I want to make for December, and I've bought no gifts for anybody. Nobody's getting any presents at the rate I'm going. So I'm trying not to panic. I'm watching all the Vlogmases as well. I love, love, love watching the Vlogmases. I love the fact that everybody else is really Christmassy and getting into the Christmas spirit. I'm not very good at being Christmassy, and I'm not very good at getting into the Christmas spirit. I find it really stressful. I think I said this last year. So if you remember any of my vlogs from last year, I said all this before. I do get myself stressed out. So I've bought no presents, no gifts. And I want to make lots of things. So this is probably not going to happen, but I have a few projects I want to make, things that I think I want to do. My first one, which what I've traced out right now, I'm trying to do some batch tracing off, and then I will do some batch cutting. I know other people have said that that's quite a good idea to do that. So I might do that. But knowing me, they'll just stay in a pile in the corner and not get touched. But I'm going to try. So the first thing I want to make is a Georgie dress by Sew Over It. My friend has just made one, and she has said that it's so comfortable to wear. So this is one thing that I really want to try and make. I've had the pattern ages, and again, it's one of those things I just haven't got around to doing. And then I want to make the it's Sinclair Patterns, and I think it's called the Harper Cardigan, and it's a free pattern. So I'm trying to stick with my theme of having a free pattern every month. November's went out the window, but I'm going to try and get one done in December. So yeah, And for that, I'm just going to make them both in almost wearable twirls. So the cardigan, I just have some black fabric, which again I found on the market, and I don't know what it is, but it looks like teddy bear fabric essentially. And so I'm going to try and make it out of that just to see what the fit is like, and you know what the pattern's like. And then I might buy some more fancy fabric to actually do another version. And the same with the Georgie. Now the Georgie, I do actually have some fabric for that. I've been gifted some beautiful French terry from Minerva. It's their own fabric, so they've started to now produce their own fabric. So I missed out on all the others that they've offered in the past. I just don't get in quick enough. I'm too slow. But this time I was literally on the ball with my email straight back to them when they said about the new French terry fabrics they were doing, because I really, really want some French terry to make the Georgie. So I'm going to do that, but I want to twirl it first. I want to get the fit right. I just want to make it really nice. And so I'm just going to use some fabric I've got again in my stash. I think it's kind of like a velvet fabric. It's a black sort of velvet fabric. So unfortunately, both of them are going to be black and pretty dull to look at. So that's why I haven't got the fabric out, because there's no point you looking at it. It's just boring. So yeah, they both will hopefully get made. But again, you know, they're not going to be that interesting to perhaps look at. But if the Georgie goes well and it's a quite easy make, I might be able to get the other one out as well. Now, as well as that, I wanted to get gifts made. That's not happening, is it? It's not happening in reality. We are only human. We have just got to do what we can and just sew what we can. So, you know, I think a lot of those might have to go out the window, and I'll just buy stuff instead. But yeah, so those are things that I've wanted to make. And that's about it really. I'm obviously, you know, I want to get into the Christmas spirit. I've got no decks up, as you can see. We normally get our tree kind of last weekend, but we're just so busy. We haven't had any time. So I'm going to try and get my husband to get it this weekend. And the place it will go is just behind me where that light is. We move that out, and that's where the tree will be. And so, yeah, really want to get that this weekend if we can. 2 weeks away. I haven't done anything Christmassy. I've not done a thing. Anyway. Yes, so that's all that I was going to say today. Just a quick catch up, all the things that I have been doing, which isn't really very much. So yeah, what I want to make in December. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all okay and you are getting Christmas stuff done. And if you do get a chance to watch this, obviously with all the other vlogs out there, with the Christmas vlogs, then thank you for watching. And please do like, or if you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. And I shall see you next time. And again, as always, sending you all loads and loads of love.